Hello, greetings. Welcome to Attaining the Second Cognition. This is Doug Michael. Glad to be spending some time with you again, ladies and gentlemen. In our continuing quest for historical unraveling of the inorganic ascended master hive program to subjugate humanity, we've had to broaden our research base. Endall has gone to great lengths in uncovering this ancient tyranny in his book We Are Not Alone, Parts 1, 2, and 3. The Ascended Master's web of deception goes back at a minimum of 6,000 years, which is about the length of time that writing has been used on this planet to catalog events. No decipherable written traditions exist before this threshold, which correlates with the invasion of Ninhursag's Aryan off-world conquerors to eradicate the other off-world gods and make our planet the playground of the Anunnaki, Inorganic Hive, and Aryan Consortium. Understanding the fact that with the introduction of the written word as a form of cognitive control mechanism, a tool for tyranny, we find ourselves at the topic of this discussion, which is Fabian Theosophy and fake gurus. Although we have stated that the modern Theosophical Society was organized by Madame Helena Blavatsky, subsequent research has revealed that the first Theosophical Society was created by Robert Hindmarsh, who was a proponent and devotee of the mystical writings of Emanuel Swedenborg. Hindmarsh created the first Theosophical Society in 1784, almost 100 years before Blavatsky created her brand of theosophy and sold it to the Western world. To this day, Swedenborg's writings hold a central place in theosophical doctrines. Endall revealed in We Are Not Alone Part 3 how Swedenborg was privy to visions provided by the inorganic hive masters of illusion to peddle their own brand of mystical Christianity. As we have touched on in our videos, such visionary experiences at the hands of the ascended hive inorganics is a major part of deceiving humanity and is one of their prime modus operandi to run their cosmic mill of deception. Swedenborg was simply another one of their visionary stooges, along with the Muslim prophet Muhammad, the organizer of the Jesuit order, Ignatius Loyola, and a whole herd of misdirected humans at the hand of the hive manipulators. We Are Not Alone Part 3 covers this inorganic chicanery in depth for those interested in a more comprehensive study of this information about visionary experiences at the hands of the ascended master manipulators. Swedenborg was only one of their chosen messengers, not that much different than modern channelers, who are in essence simply propagandists being deceived that they are passing down holy spiritual messages from on high to an ignorant and spiritually insufficient humanity. This agenda has not changed in the last 6,000 years, and it only takes on different permutations from generation to generation, folding in and stealing as many doctrines as it can adopt and wrap in the clothing of theosophy, no different than a giant snowball gathering up everything in its path as it progresses down a mountain. Part of this folding in can be found with the concept of the Hindu religion. Anyone who has studied the religions of India knows that in the past there was not one single homogenized religion, but in fact was a variety of religions, some worshiping gods and other worshiping goddesses. In We Are Not Alone Part 2, Endall explains these religions for those, seeking a deeper understanding about what ancient Indian religions were really about. In ancient times, the word Hindu simply meant people who lived near or on the other side of the Sindhu River. There was no religious connotation with the word Hindu. It was simply a geographical reference to a certain people that lived in a certain region. Since that time, Hindu has come to mean a religion, and there is no one who can point to a definitive point where the idea of Hindu religion originated as a form of homogenized identifier of the many diverse religious practices embraced in the concept. It wasn't until the 18th century under British occupation that the word Hindu started being applied to the Indian religions as a whole. Helena Blavatsky traveled the world in her research years before creating the Theosophical Society, and she paid particular focus on the religions of the East, Hinduism and Buddhism. The Hindu religions are probably some of the oldest on the planet, and it is there that we find the origins of the God mind of the inorganic hive gangsters encapsulated with the concept of Brahman, or the oversoul of every human, who possess their individual Hapim hive cell referred to as the Atman. This concept of the holy Brahman and the lowly human Atman pervades modern theosophical teachings, and why not? It is the origin of the entire inorganic hive religious control paradigm. Given the antiquity of the cosmic hive mind and its control over humanity really taking root in India with the Vedic religions, then it is little wonder that Blavatsky and Bailey so firmly profess these deeply entrenched, ascended traditions and did everything they could to import them from the East to the West. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the so-called ancient wisdom religion imported to the West and sold in the modern spiritual arena as the New Age. It would be unfair to say that Theosophy is simply just another religion. Madame Blavatsky herself smugly stated, "Theosophy is not a religion, it is religion itself." When we can finally come to grips with the idea that every religion on this planet, including all indigenous traditions that believe in some higher power or spirit world, then we perceive that all religions are nothing more than contrived systems of cognitive subjugation to the dictates of the cosmic hive. When viewed in this light, Blavatsky was telling a full truth. All religions are contrived creations designed to keep humans bending their knees to one divine principle or another, and at the top of the god heap of shit lies the inorganic hierarchy of the cosmic Cosa Nostra. In order to create the hive's New World Order, Theosophy had to diversify. Since the most ancient traditions of the inorganic manipulators lay in the East, Blavatsky and her cohorts focused their expansion efforts in India as early as 1877, if not before, opening up theosophical temples all over the country and which continue their expansion to this day. Swami Vivekananda, a Freemason and disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, coined the term Hinduism to describe an eclectic enfoldment of Indian traditions and beliefs into one system. This Neo-Hinduism was inspired by visionary experiences of Ramakrishna. Just like virtually all mystical traditions and religions, this system was based on visionary experiences of its founder. Christianity, Theosophy, Reiki, Islam, Neo-Hinduism, and on the list goes, were all born of visionary experiences delivered to foolish humans by the inorganics. Vivekananda taught the unity of all religions, directly in line with the theosophical doctrines designed to create a one-world, global hive religion subservient to the inorganic divine. Vivekananda delivered a speech to the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago in 1893. The Parliament was designed to unite many differing faiths under one banner, the banner of Theosophy, and make it palatable to the public. When theosophical proponents say things like brotherhood of man, what they really mean underneath the doublespeak is global religion. Even the current Marxist Jesuit Pope Francis has been really pushing for this unity of faiths under a one-world banner, of course, connected to a global government attached at the hip to Fabianism and the United Nations, those bastions of peace and benevolence. Why is it that none of these swamis, mystics, or religious leaders ever talk about transcending these beliefs that have not done one damn thing to move human consciousness forward? Instead, they seek to unify all of them under the umbrella of the Theosophical Hive. Throughout the years, the Parliament has convened all over the world to promote the agenda. Indian independence movement that took place under the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi was a contrived theosophical stage play, little different than the stage play they used to take over and create the State of Israel. Gandhi was a devoted theosophist, as have been many others who serve as agents for the spread of the inorganic theosophical poison, like Sri Aurobindo, Gurdjieff, and a litany of mystics peddling Eastern esotericism to the West. These threads of Eastern theological poison run through the Esalen Institute, the Society for Cyclical Research, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and into modern transpersonal psychology and transhumanism. Many cultural icons that are presented as heroes to the public are not what they appear to be. In 1888, Gandhi met with theosophists in London and soon after became a proponent. According to his own words, Gandhi's claim that all religions are true was inspired by Theosophy. The ugly truth of the matter is this: all religions are sprinkled with truth to misguide humanity down dead-end paths of divine propaganda at the hands of the inorganics to deceive and create a collective hive mind. Gandhi was actually revealed to be a sexual deviant and slept with his own great niece and several other young women. He was reportedly very cruel to people as individuals. He also left his wife after having a homosexual affair. He was also a reported racist, looking down on black Africans, and became friendly with Mussolini in 1931. Very often, when we look beneath the veneer of a holy man, we see something far different. Another great example of an alleged holy man not being what he appeared to be is that of the Indian mystic Osho. His real name was Rajneesh, and in 1981, a 64,000-acre ranch was purchased in Oregon by an American organization devoted to spreading this false teacher's propaganda. Devotees who worked without pay purchased a fleet of Rolls-Royce automobiles for the guru, a total of 93. Of course, the divine spiritual guru didn't complain. Devotees were involved in the largest bioterror attack in U.S. history, poisoning over 700 people, and were involved in the largest illegal wiretapping scandal ever uncovered. They also played a huge role in harboring illegal immigrants. They plotted the murder of Oregon's chief federal prosecutor and state attorney general. Rajneesh was like a spiritual Charles Manson. Many homeless people were brought onto the ranch and were obliged to register to vote. A portion of these people were mentally ill, and to keep them calm, the higher-ups within the cult laced beer with Haldol, a very powerful tranquilizer. Eventually, Rajneesh was indicted for evading immigration laws. Under the guru's guidance, or at least with his knowledge, tax fraud and illegal smuggling operations were conducted. There's far more to this story, and I will provide a link to a thorough article on the subject in the description section. The invasion of the Western cultures with these ancient inorganic ideas formulated and handed down by the Aryan invaders who created the Vedic religions, which is historically undeniable, is to be found in all the New Age traditions of meditation, yoga, burning incense, esoteric pursuits, belief in the ascension process, the concept of oneness, which is only a variant of the Vedic Brahmin belief in magical energy practices like Reiki, DNA activations, or any other nonsense they peddle to convince you to give your power away to some perceived set of spiritual shortcuts. The dependency on the divine syndrome handed down by the inorganic hive is ancient indeed, and the only thing they want every human to believe is that there is more validity in their alleged ancient wisdom traditions than in figuring things out for yourself. It was easy for Blavatsky and Bailey to weave all of these ancient traditions together under the guidance of their own ascended master manipulators, because it is the inorganics themselves who created all this shit in the first place. Kabbalah, Christian mysticism, Vedic Hinduism, institutional Buddhism, Gnosticism, Freemasonry, shamanism, Rosicrucianism, the Truth Movement, Love and Light, benevolent channeled aliens, Theosophy, Thelema, or Satanism. It makes no difference what label they put on it to sell to power-hungry, mystically enchanted, Hapim-driven humans, because limited perception, first cognition humans will buy one brand of their shit or another, and they all lead to the cosmic hive. While Blavatsky and her collaborator Henry Olcott set up their propaganda temples all over India and started training their theosophical propagandists, in time, Alice Bailey, working in collaboration with the SPR-created Fabian Society, started working to lock down the Western political processes for their hive masters. When enough theosophical acolytes were trained in the East to start invading the West with their theosophy-tainted religious doctrines, then the invasion of the Western world took off in earnest. The psychologists gained their training at the hands of theosophically Fabian-oriented collaborators like William James, Pierre Janet, who heavily influenced Freud, and even the metaphysical psychologist Carl Jung was a theosophist. Psychology was used as a weapon to ensure that the human psyche was shaped and molded to fall into line with the inorganic agenda to make all of humanity subservient. Once the rules of psychology were established by the inorganics through the SPR, then the brainwashing of humanity proceeded in earnest, using propaganda a la Edward Bernays to start molding the psyche of humanity to become nothing more than indoctrinated slaves to the agenda of the cosmic hive. Through the Fabian-directed takeover of the global education systems, our schools were turned into brainwashing mills, and anyone who stepped out of line was sent to a psychologist to make sure that they never transcended the hive manipulation of their own consciousness. If you refused to live in their paint-by-the-numbers world, you were deemed mentally ill and were either drugged into compliance or institutionalized to ensure your abilities to think for yourself didn't infect the brainwashed herds. Today, mind-destroying psychotropic drugs such as SSRIs are prescribed to numb the emotional centers of the brain. These poisons actually burn out the neurons in the frontal lobe, and heavy drugs such as Ritalin are given to children. The psychologists and psychiatrists became the earthly gatekeepers of their unknown hive overlords, dictating to humanity what was acceptable as sanity and what was not, and in every case, those dictates were handed down by the Fabian-controlled peer review system, making sure that the academics always towed the inorganic line to human cognitive destruction. Through such tactics, coupled with a constantly reinforced dependence on authority, humanity lives in a world of superficial perceptions, and all of their concepts of reality have been dictated to them by the cosmic hive mind of inorganic Hapim control. To show you just one example of superficial control of our perception, I will inform you about the one city on the planet that is touted as having no politics, no religion, and no money. I'm providing a couple of links in the description section so you can read about this town of Oroville. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for taking your time to listen to Attaining the Second Cognition. It's greatly appreciated. I extend my gratitude and my thanks to any and to all who take the time to open their mind, search for truth, and to push forward in their own cognitive advancement and willful evolution. Once again, thanks so much. This is Doug Michael, and until next time, walk in peace.